Sechta Bava basra, daf Kuf Lamed Tes Amud Aleph. We're starting from Kuf Lamed Ches Amud Beis from the Mishnah. So the Mishnah is now going to continue with dinim that have to do with nachlis, where the father bequeaths his nechasim to his son, and that's what the Mishnah talks about. A toilish, the father who gave over all his nechasim to his son, is like Ma'ayoy Malacha Moisei. You remember from today, you get the gufa kaka today, but the payers you get later. So he's telling us Ha'av toilish umach lechomish yitza. The father, while he's alive, he left the payers for himself, right? And I stop. I can't tell the zayin the payers and get man the essen. You can give it to other people to eat. And what's the chiddush in here? The chiddush is because the father left the payers for himself. Right. Not for others. So he's coming not to be machal. Oh, that's the chiddush. That's what the Mishnah is coming to be machadish. That the father has the right to give it to others. That's not the main chiddush. That's the base cheshul mishpat. He brings that that's the chiddush. We thought the father only has the right for himself to eat it. Kedei chayov, not to give it to others. And this that he passes away, and when he passed away, he left a whole bunch of loose payers on the ground. Says the Gemara, even though he gave it to one son, it doesn't go to that one son. It belongs to all the sons, even though the father gave the whole karka as a matana to one son, but the payers that was left over on the karka.
Because what about on the tree is?
So 1 minute. So you jump. Tolish, something about a tolish. So here you could be medayik. Only those loose payers, that goes to all the Yoshim, and the karka alone goes to the one that he gave it as a matana. But mechubelai, but those payers that are mechubah, we're going to say no, that goes to that son because mechubel karka is karka. I mean, let's say, and then he says even if it's grown so much that it's ready to be cut, it's still considered as mechubah, and you give it to the son. In fact, the Gemara about Tanya, we learned fakert, shominas hamechubarim la'lakeyach. That in the case with the son, he gave over the son as a matana the gufa kaka. So he has the kaka. He sold the kaka to somebody else. So what did he sell him? Did he sell him with the fruits that are mechubel kaka? We say no. The father gave the paydays to the son. Even the mechubel paydays goes to the son, and he only gets the kaka. But we just said faket. We said if the father gave it to the son, and so only the loose payers go to all the yashim. The son didn't sell it, but whatever's mechubah goes to the son. But when you say if the son sold it to others, the lakeach doesn't get the mechubah. What's the chilik? So the Gemara, here it's talking about his own son. And here it's talking about his son sold it to another person. What's the chilik? So he says, since the father is very close with the son, the father wants the son to get as much as he could. So if it's mechubel akar, he wants to give more. He wants to give more than the other brothers. So the mechubel he's giving him. If the son sold it to another person, he doesn't want that other person to have extra. The extra should belong to the son. The mechubel, the karka, the pay is bazan mechubel. So against the son goes to the son. But we know what the father wanted. We go according to what the donus. The shots and what the father wanted to give. Bezin shots what the father wanted to give. Richtig. Sagt die Mishnah. If the father left over adult children and ketanim, Baruch Hashem. It says the older ones cannot take money. They didn't divide in the chasim yet for the kids. The older ones cannot grab money. for the begadim, if mecheshbin of the ketanim, meaning you didn't divide it. So they said it's not divided yet. Yet I want to take the older ones want to take money out of the undivided estate. The estate wasn't divided from the box. They say this is not part of the chilek. I get to take. He says I get to take for my clothing, and then we'll divide. This Wie man sagt, sagt, auf jenem Sache kann man schmeißen. So he says, if jenem's cheshbon has been good. He says, no, they can't. Ketanim need to have food. Little kids have to eat a couple times a day. And then they get a little older, you have to pay for the tuition. They can't take it from the state before it's divided.
Right.
First,
It's expensive, right?
sure it was expensive. Then it's even more expensive. So you can't say they should take it before they split the thing. They say first, everybody, we divide it equally. And then everybody takes whatever they need from their chelik, their own chelik. Even the Ketanim can only get from their own chelik. Nosi gedolim. What's if the adults took money for getting married? They took it out of the estate before, out of the, like you called it, the box, before they divided it into chalakim. So Yisak Ketanim, the Ketanim can say, hey, just like you took it before it was divided for the expense of your weddings, we want to be able to deduct later that cheshbon for our weddings too. Those eitzois, those expenses we want to be able to take for ourselves, just like you took money out of the kasa for your expenses. Yeah, oh, they have somebody representing them. And if the Ketanim said, they're saying, listen, we're going to get married just like you got married and took from the expenses. We want to get married. We don't listen to him. So it's a stira. We just said they could, and now we say they can't. So here you can see from this what the father gave them. It's talking about, the second case is talking about that the adults got married when the father was alive. So the father gave them money. Then he died. So the little kids are screaming, hey, the Tati was alive. You got money for the expenses. We want equal and then divide it. No. What he gave in his lifetime is given. After that, it doesn't. After that, you divide. It doesn't go into the cheshbon. Now we're talking about a case. He only had daughters, adult daughters, and minors. Right, very good. But over here, it's mom's going to be a repetition. The same thing applies. The Gedalis can take before they divide the casa for their expenses for the wedding on the cheshbon of the Ketanis. The Ketanis that need food, like we said before, they eat a couple times a day, tuition, whatever, they can't take it on the cheshbon of the Gedalis. First, you have to divide all the chalakim equally. And then each one takes from their chelik their expenses. What's if the Gedalis took expenses for their marriage before they divided the estate? The Ketanis can make the same cheshbon and deduct the same. If the Ketanis now telling, hey, you Gedalis, you Taka got married when Tati was alive. He gave you money. Now he's dead. We want to take the same cheshbon. We don't listen to them. It's exactly what we said before.
But if the father's died already and the Gedolim took,
then the Ketanis, we just said they could deduct the same thing.
It's a chiluk if the father's alive.
No, the Gemara is going to explain. I'm just telling you what the Gemara says later on. So the Gemara zeh choyme babonis mi babonim. This is the chomer by bonis more than bonim, meaning the bonis have a stronger yerusha. It's theirs once they're Yiddish. It's completely theirs versus the bonim. Lamashal, shabonis nezoynes al habonim. If the father left a yerusha for the banim, the daughters, there's sons and daughters, the daughters get to eat out of the chalakim of the brothers. But the ein zeines Allah. I'm sorry, the ein zeines Allah banis. But what's if only banis got a yerusha? The other banis cannot eat on the cheshbon of other banis. It doesn't work. Whatever they got is totally theirs, and nobody can touch theirs. Let's say that there's very little, and one of the girls needs more money, so they cannot go to the other bunnies chalakim to take. Everyone is even, and they can't say just like by bunnies can go to the bunnim and take chalakim. We don't say it by the bunnies. And even if the father gave one more than the other, the bunnies cannot.
Why do the bunnies get a better
Because that's the Tanai. It says that's part of the Tanai.
They're more stronger or more.
He brings down in 11. Echad mitnai aksuba shemischayiv habal leishtei hu she'abonis shetiyena lo mimena tiyena nizenis min ezchasav la'acha meisei Asher tisbagarno oish tisarsarno. That's the time that they get from the sons till they become. That's a dying silver for the bunnies. Rabbi said, "Hi Godel Ache." This brother doesn't mean the oldest brother. It means the one that took the responsibility and charge. No, the brother, but one of the brothers. He says, "I'll take charge. I'll make sure that we don't lose any money." But what happened? He took money. The lovers, he took from the Grace of Kas before they divided. And he put on Pirkaden. He had the right buckles over here. He has Lappen Shissel. Ever since Lappen Shissel, nobody over here. I'm just saying. He was sitting and he clothed himself nicely. He had the right cufflinks with the schnipsel. It was perfect. My David, we said what he took is taken, and you can't take back from him. In fact, how could you say that? We learned that the Gedolim can go and on the cheshbon of the Ketanim and buy themselves clothing. And in our case in the Mishnah where he said he can't take it on the cheshbon of the Ketanim, is beshirches as a bruder was adam bottle. I tut garnished. It's just a bottle. So if a bottle, stop them to get for Kleda, who needs you? Why are you taking my money for you? Stop bottling. You're not doing nothing for us. In fact, you want a shircha? Pshita, of course. He's not allowed to take from the on the cheshbon from the Ketanim. I mean, the Gemara out the I would have thought to say shenichlahu the loydinval. The brothers don't want that one of the brothers will always cook him yutzlach. So that's why they let him grab money for clothing. He should look like as I got to say Yashka.
That's okay.
No, so Kamash Malan, no. He's a bottling, and because you're bottling, you're going to take on our cheshbon. It's not such a bad. Very good. That's a bite from a bottling. Yeah.
He took a nice cufflinks and nice
Right. Everything, he knew what to take.
Yeah, so he's a
We
bottler.
learned in the Mishnah, if the Gdolim got married, took money before they divided their estates, Yisra Ketanim, so the Ketanim say, just like you took, we want to deduct before you divide anything for our expenses for a wedding. But then the Mishnah says, at the end, Ve'im Amr HaKetanim, Harei Anu Noisim Keder Shenosasem Atam, Ein Shem Noise, Ein Shem Lem. In fact, the Gemara says, Stira, my Kama, what is the Gemara saying? And the Gemara, Rav Yehuda Hachi Kama, this is the Pshat. Nosrak Doilim, if the Gedolim got married before, if the father died, and they took money before they divided their estate, so too the Ketanim will deduct equally before they divide their estate for their weddings. What's if the Gedolim got married in the lifetime? That's the second part of the Mishnah. The lifetime of the father. Then the Ketanim came after the father died. We want to take money apart before we divide it, just like you took when Tati was alive. We don't listen to them. Rather, whatever the father gave them in the lifetime, he gave and finished. That's it. It's done. It's a done deal. Right. And the Chayavim, he was healthy. He should leave for the kids equal.
You should leave that if the big boys are getting married and he get left money for their wedding, and he's sick and he's dying.
The truth is, that's really in the ksuba for the daughters.
Yeah, but he shouldn't.
For the sons, not.
With the sons, they also want to have a big wedding, and they said, "Too bad."
I hear.
They didn't give it to you in their lifetime.
All right, so maybe he'll be considerate. You don't know. What's if he only left the girls, adults and ketanis? Shalach me'avua by Geniva Rava. Avua by Geniva sent to Rava Shaila the following Shaila. Yilamdeinu Rabbeinu. Rava, teach us. No, by Geniva is a name. Yilamdeinu Rabbeinu, teach us, Rava. This Shaila, what's the answer? If a woman loves her, she borrowed money of an ishbitashta, milval peh. She borrowed, let's say, $1,000.
Who's this?
A girl. While she was a girl, she borrowed $1,000. She consumed it, and then after she finished the money, she got rid of the money. She got up, and Nisa, she got married, and she brought in the chosim into the marriage. Baal, the husband, lekeach havi, is he considered as a lekeach? a Yerush Havi, or he's considered as a Yerush. What's the chilik? Loikeach Havi, if you say he's a buyer, he's considered as a buyer when the wife comes in with property into the marriage. And the husband, Nichse Meluk, what's the Nichse Meluk? She comes in with property, and the husband eats from the paytas, right? So
the property is hers.
the property is hers, and then at the end, if they get divorced, or if he dies, or she dies, but we'll talk about, let's say if they get divorced, the field goes back no matter what it was, a high price, low price, that's how she gets it back. It's not Nichse Tzoyin Basel. Nichse Tzoyin Basel means whatever the price was that she came into the marriage, that's the same price she has to get it back as. Here we're talking about Nichse Meluk, Barza, means Eisen, the same price. Nichse Meluk means the husband gets the fresh for nothing, and even though he degrades the property and it becomes lower, that's how she gets it back. Okay? So if he's considered as Loikeach, Milva Peh in a given ala kuchis. So now she has, she borrowed money. So her malva is coming to collect money. So if now she came into a marriage with her fields, so the husband's like a lekeach. So he cannot collect, the malva cannot collect from a lekeach. The simple reason is because if the malva will be collect from a lekeach, the lekeach didn't know that she owes money. It wasn't a milva bishtar. If it's a bishtar, then there's a shibud on the karka. But there was a milva al peh. So how should the lekeach
The
know?
only reason he married her is because she had a lot of karka. He didn't want to lose.
No, that who said that? No. So he married her. We're saying b'chlau by the kuchis. Here is different. If you want to be mechalik, we'll talk about it later. Right now, if we consider him as a lekeach, milva al peh, which is not bishtar, doesn't have a shibud on the karkoyes, and he cannot collect. Oiduma, or perhaps the husband.
Is only coming to
He's considered as lekeach according to one day. Oiduma
because
yerush
he married her.
He married her. It's as if he bought the property. You'll see later. Why is he considered as a buyer? Let's say some other buyer came and bought the property from the wife while they were married, and he's supposed to eat from the paydays. So they don't get the property. He could go, if she dies first, right? He could take away the property from the buyers. Because he could say, I was the first lekeach. Right when I got married, I was the first buyer. That's the halacha. He's a buyer. Or Yerush Havi. Maybe it's considered as a Yerush. And by a Yerush, milva peh. Great bin a Yerushim. A milva peh, it doesn't have, we know nobody's going to lend money because the guy can die. And no more money, I have nowhere to go. So the Torah, in order not to close the doors in front of those that lend money, you give them a way that even if the guy dies, there's a way to get your money. You go to the Yerushim. So if the husband is considered as a Yerush, then the Malva can go and collect the money from the karka because the husband is considered as a Yerush.
Takes away the karka from the husband.
Yes. Amalei. So Rabbi said, Tanei, no, we learned this. Where do we learn? Nasa Gedolos, Isa Katanes. He says if the older daughters took money for the wedding, right, before they divided their estate, right, and then the Gedolos get married, the Katanes can come and take back from the Shrestha. My love is that they're not talking about Nisa Gedolos Labal. The adults, we're talking about they took already money, and for what did they take? To get married. So he already deducted. So now the Ketanis, where are they going to get the money?
The father at that time died already.
Died already. And they took money out of the casa before they divided the estate and got married. So the Ketanis can now go to the husband, say, hey, we have the same right, just like the older ones took for the expenses of the wedding. We're taking away from the kaka that she has for our expenses, for our weddings. So it's about a loy. That's not what the Mishnah is talking about. The Mishnah says, Nisag, there's libal, Yisu Ketanis libal. The Mishnah is just saying, just like the Gedolos were able to take expenses from their estate before it's divided, so too the Ketanis could take equally from their estate before it's divided for their marriage. It's not talking about that taken away from the Baal. He's not talking about that. In fact, the mother, ain't he? Really? It's not talking about that. Look closer to the words. But Tani, we learned that it says in the Braisa ben Furish, Nasa Gedolos Libal, okay? The Gedolos got married to the Baal. Yisu Ketanis, the Ketanis, the dog from the Cheshbon, Mibal. Takes it from the Baal. So it's he's taking that the Ketanis are grabbing from the husband. Says Gemara, I hear you. But Dilma, Shani Panos, Isla Kala. Says Gemara, maybe for the expense for the Ketanis is different. It's considered as a milva b'shtar. What's the whole reason that lekuches, you can that a milva peh cannot be given from the lekuches? Because from where should the lekuches know that there's halva? There's no star that there should be a koil. But over here, the husband of the Gedolah knew there's younger girls that have to get married. It's like there's a koil. They knew everything. So it's like a star. It's like there's a star. There's a shibut kakais. I'm like Papa Rabbi. Lit up. Papa said to Rabbi, "Lav hainu." The Sholach Rabin being Hasei. He says the Gemara says, "What do I need this as a raya? Isn't this mamish a letter which Papa had written to Rabbi?" What was the case? He brought down a case. He was sent from Eretz Yisrael to Bava this letter. Which case? Misha meis v'niach amana ubas. A person passed away, and he left his wife as almana and a daughter. Almanase nizaynas menechasav. The almana eats from her nechasim. She was the Yiddish, the daughter. So the almana can eat from the daughter's nechasim. If she got nisas habas. What's if the boss got married? You're right now, but now we'll say if the boss got married, Almanase nizaynas menechasav. You're right. Then the almana gets to eat even from the husband who's now in charge of the nechasim that the daughter came in with. The almana gets to
There's only one daughter.
one daughter. Meisa Abbas, he wants to tell you even if the even if the daughter died, and now who's in charge? Just the husband. Rabbi Yehuda ben Achis, Rabbi Yosef ben Chanina, Rabbi Yehuda, the ben Achis of Rabbi Yossi ben Chanina said, Al Yodi Hoya Maisa. I had such a story, with this same exact story. The Amru, and the Chachamim said, Amanasei, the Amana of the father, Nizoines Menechasav, gets to eat from the Nechasim of the husband. So what do you see from here? That he's considered as a Yiddish. Because if he was considered as a Lekeach, the Amana wouldn't, it says, there's a Mishnah that says, Ein Moitzien Lemazin Ha'isha Mishibet Rabbanis Menechasim Mishubadim. The only way that Almana or Abbas can take from the Chasim Mishubadim is only if he's considered as a Yiddish.
That's from her husband, right?
The daughter's husband. That the Almana, the wife. Yeah, the case was a person died, he left a widow with a daughter. The daughter inherited. She was the Yiddish.
Yeah.
She got married. The Almana gets to eat from the Chasim. How could she get to eat? Only if he's considered as a Yiddish. Because if he's considered as a Lekeach, we have the Mishnah. Only if it's a Yiddish. He's a Yiddish. Here he's going to explain it. If you say the husband is Mamash Yiddish, because of this, the Almana can go and eat from the Nechasim. Because a Yiddish, we said, Shalai Dells with Neilavin. Now, Leiva should be able to collect if the person who the borrower dies, no more money. So that's why they allow him to go to the Yiddish. But if you're going to say the husband is considered as a Lekeach, well, how could she go and eat from the husband's nechasim?
This is her son-in-law, right?
His son-in-law. How could she? We know ein nikva min alakuches. We know that a moitzian, the lashon hamana, a moitzian was an isha min nechasim mishubadim. Abaya says, I don't need this raya. He loved the sholach rav nanat lo yadina. If Rabin wouldn't have sent this letter, you think I wouldn't have known that the husband's considered as a Yiddish? But now we learned Beferish. In Mishnah Becheres, Elu Hein She'ein Chayzel Baleim. These are the cases that it doesn't go to the original owners B'Yovel. B'chal, if a Lekeach, by Lekuches, if a Lekeach buys property from somebody in Eretz Yisrael, So when Yovel comes,
You have
the
to give it
property
back.
goes back to the original owner.
Right.
That's only if it's a Mekach or Memka,
But you-
not Yodesh or Matana. So which other cases? It says Abachayra, the second part that Abachayra gets, doesn't go back to the original owner. The Hayodesh Hasishtoi, and the husband that's Yodesh, the wife, right, doesn't, if he dies, it doesn't go back. If she dies, it doesn't go back
If
to
showed-
the original owner.
If showed money.
If-
If showed money.
No, we're not talking about all the money. She died. She's the Yodesh. She was Yodesh from her father. So the Chedev, she died. It should go back to the family. No, we say the husband is the Yodesh, and it doesn't go back. Finished.
The family is not Yoshim.
No, no more. I mean, it doesn't go back to her family. It stays by him if she died.
You have to.
So you see the Feder, she's a Yiddish. I don't need all these letters and rayas. Amalei Rabba v'hashta de sholach. And now that Robin sent this letter, mi adinan, do we then know that the Baal is considered as a Yiddish? Well, there's no raya. Amar Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina said, the Usha, in the city of Usha, Hiskinu, they were made a takona, Isha Shamachram Nixim Elug. I told you this case before. A man gets to eat all the paydays, by Nixim Elug, all the paydays of the field, and if Chas Hashem they get divorced, so she gets back the field. VC is the way it is. If it's lower, it's low, higher.
It's her property.
It's her property. But what did she do? She went ahead and sold the field
She sold it.
while they were married.
While she was married.
While she was married, B'chaye Baila, in the lifetime of her husband, and then Umesa she died. So what did they do? They did Habal. We said the Baal is makes me out of the kuchis. The Baal can take it out of the hand of the lekuchis. How can he take it out of the hand of the lekuchis? Says Arayim that he's considered as a buyer because we say he was the first buyer. When he came in and he got married, the first buyer is right when he got married. He was the buyer of the Nixim Look. That's what the Chacham were masakin. So he's considered as a lekeach. Where do you come off saying he's a yedesh? Zok the Yemara Elamar Ravashi. Rather, Ravashi says Baal Shavyu Rabbanim ki yedesh and Shavyu Rabbanim ki lekeach. Oh, the husband, whatever benefits the husband, that's what we consider him like.
Well, you let him do that.
If it's sometimes we consider him as a Yiddish and sometimes like a Lekeach.
There's a lot of money.
The Heicha, the Tavale of the Lay, in every place will be beneficial for him. That's what we're going to do for him. Legabe Yovel. Now he explains. By Yovel, Shavyu Rabbanan ki Yiddish. By Yovel, we said he's a Yiddish. It doesn't go back to her family if she dies. He keeps it. Mishum Seder the date so that he shouldn't lose. Okay, good. So he's considered a Yiddish. If he was.
Why does he get such property? Why just married? He married her. So he gets the keep.
You see how special it is? It's not an easy test to be married. It's like you
No,
want to
for him
Gabe.
it is.
Yeah, he's gaining money. Okay. Gabe, they have Yosef Rabbi Chanina.
He suffered so much that he's giving.
Raised the Maisa. So you know, Hafrui that was married already 40 years. They came to their office. He was like, yeah. So they're like, hey, the Gemara state as Mizbeach married the Mais. Like, you know, if you get divorced. He says, biz jetzt, bis die Fretz, ja, ich hab geweint. Jetzt soll der Mizbeach ein bisschen weinen. Sagen die Gemara, Gabe, der Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina, by the case of the Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina, that the Isha sold Nirsim Elul, the Baal could go. Well, the wife sold the Nirsim Elul while the husband was alive. So then we're going to make him like a Lekeach. He was the first Lekeach. And when he married her, Shavyunu or Shavyu Rabban Lekeach. Rabban made him like a Lekeach. Mishum Seder the day so that he shouldn't leave. Gabe the Ravin. Going to get to the case of Ravin that the Amana of the father gets from the Nechasim after the daughter gets married. You remember that case? She got married. So Mishum Seder the Amana. There, why does she get to eat from the husband's property? Because it's a loss for the Almana. So we're worried for the Almana. Shavyu Rabbana ki Yedesh. So did the Rabbana made him like a Yedesh, so the Almana should be able to get food. Because that's part of the Tnai Ksuba. Frag the Gemara, V'halagabe the Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Chanina. by the case of Yosef Rab Chanina, where the woman sold the Nichse Meluk to another person, Bechaya Av. The Kipsei the Lekuchis, where there's a loss for the Lekuchis, and we should say, just like the Chacham were concerned about the loss of the Amana, let them be concerned about the loss of the buyers.
Sag the landlords, so also.
They should, the Lekuchis should, they shouldn't lose. And the Gemara Shavyu Rabbanan Kileikeach. This Shavyu Rabbanan Kileikeach, and the Rabbanan consider as a Leikeach that he gets to take it away from the Lekuchis, and now the Lekuchis are losing. And the Gemara Hasam Inhu Avsida Navshayu. These Lekuchis were gangsters, like gangsters. They knew, even the Ikabal, they know there's a husband here, and he's eating from the fruits, and he has his eye in this field. Don't buy it while the hot mitachas. Here he uses the lashon. They knew she has a husband. They shouldn't have behaved like they did. That's disgusting. The husband eats in the payas, and you're pulling the rug from under his eyes. Your mom is pulling. They shouldn't have bought nechasim from this woman who's sitting under the rulership of the husband. Now, b'negeya to the Gemara that we said, when she borrowed money, right, and then she got married. So he brought down over here that Shemistabash Habal Nasher Kiyodesh, the Mikazem Yochel Habal Chayiv Likwe says on the Chasm Habal. Why should the Baal Chayiv be able to take from the Baal? The Baal is losing if the Baal.
Before you get married, check out what
So the answer is because the Baal Chayiv. What do you want from the Baal Chayiv? He didn't know she's going to bring in the Chasm in a marriage, so the Baal Chayiv didn't cause the loss for himself. Here the Lekuchis, they went and bought, and they knew there's a husband who's eating from the paydas. So they caused that loss for themselves. But the Baal Chayiv that lent this single woman money, they didn't know what's going to happen in the future. She'll get married and she'll have to go. So that's why the Baal Chayiv shouldn't lose. He didn't do anything wrong.